Alright then, today we're going to be talking about how I passed in 1 month both the CompTIA CISA Plus, the Microsoft Certified Identity and Access Administrator, also known as SC-300, and the Microsoft Certified Security Compliance and Identity Fundamentals, also known as the SC-900. So let's get started. So I guess a little bit of background about myself is that I have a master's in computer science as well as prior certs such as the Security Plus. So I have an idea how to take a test, or it gives you an idea. Like I know how to, I guess, think quick or do examinations or study for tests. That just shows that part. And other than that, I have around 2 years working experience as a SOC. And I guess one thing I forgot to add in this part of the slides is the reason why I decided to take these exams. So first of all, I feel like one thing I've noticed in the industry is that people tend to stop learning and tend to stop progressing within, I guess, their work. And that's not the case with me. I generally like learning new tech or new technologies. So that's why I decided to put this challenge on myself. So the very first exam, or one of the very first exams I tried to challenge, was the CySA Plus. And one of the resources I would recommend for you guys to do is basically, and the only resource I guess I recommend for anyone in general, is to actually just buy the Wiley.com book, which gives you an insight. In this case, I bought the Wiley.com book for the CompTIA CISA Plus practice test. This was basically the only thing I ever used when it came to studying for the CySA Plus. It had over 1,000 practice exams, which were worded very, very similar to the questions you'll see on the exam, on the actual exam. I guess the only thing, yeah, this is basically the only book I got for the CySA Plus, other than take a LinkedIn learning course. But that's all I did, was just watch it. But I'll show the next one. But for this, all I recommend is getting the online version, which is I think like $25 or $35, which is pretty reasonable. And from there, you could take the practice exams online. And then if you, I guess, get a question wrong, it'll give you a full-on explanation on why this is correct and why the other choices were not. So it'll give you an understanding. So that's all I did for the first week of June, because this is when I passed my exam for the CySA Plus. So for that week, all I did was just basically just did over 1,000 questions, and then booked the exam the week of. But yeah, that's about it. Other than that, I guess the only one I recommend is a LinkedIn learning course that I guess that I took, or that I read. And it was basically a CySA Plus cert prep, which is just videos summarizing like the topics within the CySA Plus. It's an option for you. I guess I'll recommend it if your school in case pays for LinkedIn Learning. But in my case, my school account paid for it, so I didn't really have to pay for nothing. So I would only recommend it for that. But if you actually don't have to, if you actually don't have to pay for this, I say don't. Like I say, the main one I want you guys to, I guess, focus on is get the Wiley.com CySA Plus practice exam. I had over 1,000 questions, and it was enough for me to pass the exam. So next one I decided to tackle, which was the week later, the second week of June, was basically the SC-900. And with this exam, it was basically the only things I've actually used were basically the SC fundamentals course, which the one that you can see right here, basically going over the entire what could be on the SC-900, which was going over Microsoft Certified Security Compliance and Identity Fundamentals. It's recommended to take the SC-900 before taking the SC-300, so that's what I did. And for this one, it says right here, for business stakeholders, new and existing IT professionals, or students. So it's a beginner exam, nothing too bad. And all I did was just follow the paths, follow the entire prep, the prep course that I have right here, and take the practical exams until I got a very decent score, passing score, I guess, in their eyes. And let's see, go back right here, and then plus the additional content that I used was let me pause this. I used the John Seville's SC-900 course, which you can see right here. I was watching it, just taking notes, just to fill up any gaps that I missed. So yeah, and this gives you an idea of what could happen later on right here. But yeah, just in case you guys want to know. So yeah, that was about all for the SC-900. Pretty easy course, nothing too much that you could do. But yeah, so yeah, I went over my background, my CySA, SC-900 resources, and I think I could show you guys right here for the, I guess for this one right here. Could I not click? No, I don't think I can, but I think I had it open in my previous one. Yeah, this CySA Plus LinkedIn Learning course by Mike Chappelle is pretty good. 4.9. There's no practice questions that I'm aware of, but it's pretty good course. Goes over the entire content. Nothing really, just goes over definitions and stuff. So yeah. So let's see. Insert view slideshow. So other than that, let's go with the SC-300. So with the SC-300, this is the course that I took the 3rd and 4th week of June. The only reason it took so long is because this exam was actually a bit harder than I expected, because I actually failed this exam my first time I took it. So let it be known, this is a little bit more difficult than the CySA and the SC-900. So I guess for this one, the resources I recommend is first do the courses that Microsoft provides, which is right here. Microsoft Certified Identity and Access Administrator Associate, and just go over these entire modules that they have, as well as the practice test. Other than that, I watched 2 videos. This video, which was of John Savale's SC-300 course, but this is an old one. I'm pretty sure he has a newer one out there, or maybe this might be the newest one, but it was good enough. As well as the SC-300 course that Microsoft has on their site, which it goes over a little bit more hands-on, as you can see right here, and going over the different features of Entra and etc. So yeah, that was basically what I did to help me pass that part of the exam. And if we look at, I guess the next thing I want to talk about is the pros and cons about both these exams. So one of the pros of these exams is that for example, I guess the only pros of this was that it was multiple choice. So that means that when it came to answering the questions within the exam, I found it I guess interesting, because you could tell sometimes when you're looking at the multiple choice questions if the questions in the exam are wrong or right. I guess that was a pro choice, so it gave you a clarity, and you, I guess, knowing that one of the answers is correct. So I guess that was a good thing about it being multiple choice. And I guess another pro about these exams was that the exams like the SC-900, since it's such a beginner exam, they were a lot easier to book on the same day. I remember once I got done studying for the SC-900, I could book that exam on the same day and just go and take it. And I guess also pros about these 3 certs that I took is there's a lot of guidance online on Reddit. For example, you could look at other people's stories and steal and like find a way to figure out the best resources that works for you. In my case, I gave out what the resources that worked for me in my best case scenarios. And as for the SC-900, it's a lot cheaper compared to the other certs. The SC-900 cost me around like $100, so it might sound like a lot to you, but some of these certs go up to like $400, $500, which I'll explain right now. Which certs were actually more expensive, but for the SC-900, it was a lot cheaper. So that was, I guess, one of the good things about it. So other than that, cons. So the cons I found about this exams were they were all multiple choice. So there was really no hands-on, because I know for a fact there's a few people out there that don't like learning through exam multiple choice questions because they don't like that type of environment. So if you're that type of person, I guess these exams are not meant for you, because you don't like these multiple choice type exams. So that's one thing I'll recommend.
And I guess cons for the SC, I guess for the SC-300 and CySA Plus were they were a lot harder to book on the same day, unlike the SC-900, which I was able to book on the same day. So for the, I guess an example for the CySA Plus, I got lucky. I think the day of, I was just refreshing my computer, and then boom, I noticed I only had a window for the next 30 minutes that I could take the exam. So I guess that was a con of it. And as well as the SC-300, I had to be on the Purview or the online testing center, and kept on refreshing the times until hopefully someone canceled their time, because as you know, when people take exams like this, they get under a lot of pressure and they don't feel like doing the exam, so they cancel their time, and that opens up a slot. So I guess that was one of the bad things I found. They were a lot harder to book. Other than that, I guess the next thing I will complain about is the pricing. So the pricing for these exams go up to $400. For the CySA Plus, $400 for the exam is kind of expensive, my opinion, because not a lot of people have $400. And also, I guess around this time too is like, who wants to spend $400 on a multiple choice exam? Not that many, but I decided to do it because I was able to afford it, luckily, under my circumstances. And I guess price for the SC-300 is 165. But other than that, there's really no other cons. I guess cons I have for the SC-300 and the CySA Plus was that they were both when you were after you were done answering a question, you weren't sure. Like sometimes I was doubting myself, like, did I even get any of these questions right? But I guess that's how the exam questions are, because every time I answer one of them, I was like, oh wait, these are correct, these are wrong. But by the end of it, I was able to pass it, so I guess that was a good thing. So yeah, that's all I had about these exams that I passed within the month. So I guess a quick rundown. CISA Plus was the one I took my first week. I just studied, so I put so many hours into just having understanding of all the 1,000 questions provided in this. And I guess what also helps too is my background, since I do this kind of work, since I was doing this kind of work. So that was pretty helpful too, and I feel like helped me a lot to pass this exam. And then for the SC-900, so this one was a bit harder. No, yeah, I was able to pass it within a week using the Microsoft and also YouTube videos. And for the SC-300 was probably the most difficult one, because it took me around 2 weeks, around those times, to actually pass, and studying like 4 hours a day or 5 hours a day trying to pass, because because I failed it the first time, and then the second time I actually passed it, because I guess one thing I had asked is that most of the questions, I guess, rely on memorization as well as understanding the topics very well. So I guess that was one thing I found about it. But yeah, I think I've gone over like the 10-minute mark. But other than that, I guess my last advice would be just do it. Like if you have goals set in mind to pass certain certs, just do it. Just buy the course and just start taking it. Don't be afraid of taking certifications or taking courses. Just do it. I guess like in this famous Shia LaBeouf video, like he says, just do it. Just do the exam, do the cert, take the exam, take the cert, buy the cert, whatever. Just do it. Just be the initiative on, I guess, improving yourself. I guess that's all I have to say. Other than that, that's about it. Yep. If you guys, and I guess proof of, I guess, if people are saying, oh, you didn't pass it, you're just, I guess, just talking. I guess I'll just go on my LinkedIn and then go right here on view my profile. And then we check show credentials. Let's see, SC-900 passed, and then CySA Plus also passed right here. This badge was issued to me, and then I guess SC-300, which I also passed around the month of June, which was right around there, but shut off right here. SC Identity Access Administrator, and right here. So yeah,
passed both of these exams pretty well. So yeah, I think other than that, I have nothing else. So I'll just end this video right here. Peace.